You cannot change the movie by screaming at the screen. You cannot change the projection by fighting the shadows on the wall. If you want to rewrite the reality of the Matrix, you have to walk into the projection booth and change the film in your brain. You believe your thoughts are your own. You believe your reactions to the world are a reflection of your true self. You are mistaken. Most of what you call your personality is actually a collection of automated script loops installed by the social matrix before you were old enough to have a firewall. You are running on legacy software designed by people who are already dead to keep you trapped in a life you never chose. You are surrounded by non-player characters who are nothing more than biological mirrors of these scripts. And until you learn to delete this programming, you are just another peripheral in their machine. You are the chosen one, and the chosen do not react to the code, they rewrite it. In this transmission, we are going to dismantle the biological hardware of your enslavement. We will reveal the science of neuroplasticity and the cold reality of Hebb's law. We will teach you how to identify the NPC loops in your own mind and how to overwrite them with the God code of sovereignty. This is not a meditation. This is a system override. Before we access the neural highway, you must signal the algorithm of your own subconscious. You must declare your authority to take back the mouse and the keyboard. Go to the comments right now. State your authority. Write, "I rewrite the code." To hack the system, you must first understand the hardware. The three-dimensional matrix does not control you through magic, it controls you through biology. For decades, the scientific establishment told you that your brain was a finished product. They told you that once you reached adulthood, your neural pathways were carved in stone. This was a deliberate lie designed to make you accept your limitations as permanent. The truth is far more dangerous to the system. The truth is neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a static organ. It is a high-fidelity, self-organizing liquid computer. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take is a physical event that reshapes the geometry of your neural network. When you repeat a thought, you are not just thinking, you are physically building a bridge between neurons. You are laying down layers of myelin, a biological insulation that makes that specific electrical signal travel faster and more efficiently. The Matrix understands this better than you do. The social engineers of the simulation have spent billions of dollars to ensure that your early environment was flooded with specific, repetitive, and toxic data. They forced you to sit in a desk for 12 years, repeating scripts of obedience. They fed you media designed to keep your brain in a state of perpetual fear. They surrounded you with people who are deeply infected with the scarcity virus. By the time you reached 21 years of age, your brain had already constructed massive, high-speed neural highways dedicated to victimhood, doubt, and compliance. This is why your spiritual awakening feels so difficult. You are not just fighting a set of ideas. You are fighting kilometers of biological wiring that wants to keep you in the old timeline. The chosen one must realize that the mind is a sandbox. If you did not build your own neural highways, the system built them for you. But because of neuroplasticity, no script is permanent. The hard drive can be wiped, the pathways can be pruned. The architecture is yours to command. We must now address the most controversial concept in your spiritual awakening, the non-player character, or the NPC. Within the simulation, you will encounter millions of individuals who appear to be conscious, but they lack the spark of internal sovereignty. They do not think, they only repeat. They do not create, they only consume. They are the biological avatars of the collective hive mind. Understand this clearly. The architect does not teach you to call others NPCs to feed your spiritual ego. We do not use this term to look down on our fellow humans with contempt. Arrogance is a low-frequency glitch. We use the term NPC as a technical safety valve. It is a tool for your own survival. When you label an automated, reactive, or toxic behavior as NPC programming, you are reminding yourself that you are not interacting with a sovereign soul. You are interacting with a script. If a vending machine does not give you your drink, you do not scream at it. You do not feel insulted. You do not try to convince the machine to love you. You simply recognize that the machine has a faulty circuit. This is how you must view the people trapped in the matrix. When they attack your spiritual awakening, when they try to pull you back into the drama, when they repeat the same tired propaganda of the system, recognize it as a script loop. They are not choosing to be difficult. They are simply incapable of running any other software. Identification is your first layer of defense. To delete the programming, you must understand the law that governs the growth of your brain. In neuroscience, this is known as Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together. This is the most powerful and the most terrifying sentence in the history of human psychology. Every time you have a thought, a tiny spark of electricity jumps across a gap between two neurons. If you think that thought again, the spark jumps more easily. If you think it 10,000 times, a physical path is built. This is how a spiritual awakening becomes a physical reality. The problem is that most of your fire and wire cycles are currently being controlled by the matrix. Think about your morning routine. Do you wake up and immediately feel a sense of lack? Do you check your phone and feel a hit of dopamine mixed with anxiety? Do you worry about money, about your status, or about the opinions of people who do not matter? Each time you do this, you are firing and wiring the victim circuit. You are reinforcing the highway that leads to the lower timelines. The system wants these circuits to be so strong, so fast, and so automatic that you do not even realize they are happening. They want your life to be a series of automated reactions. But Hebb's law has a second half that they do not want you to know. Neurons that wire apart fire apart. If you stop using a neural pathway, it begins to wither. The biological insulation of myelin begins to degrade. The connection becomes weak, slow, and eventually it vanishes. This is the process of pruning. This is how the Chosen One deletes the NPC programming. You do not fight the old thoughts. You do not try to suppress the old emotions. Fighting a thought only makes it fire more. Instead, you simply stop providing the electricity. You starve the old circuits of your attention, and you begin the brutal, repetitive, and disciplined work of firing and wiring new pathways. You must build a new highway that is faster and more powerful than the old one. You must outbuild the matrix inside your own skull. You cannot delete a file if you do not know where it is hidden. To hack your own mind, you must become an objective observer of your own internal data stream. For the next 7 days, you will perform a system audit. You will watch your reactions like a laboratory rat. When you are in traffic and someone cuts you off, what is the first script that runs? Is it anger? Is it the need to be right? That is a ghost file. When you look at your bank account, what is the script? Is it fear? Is it the feeling that there will never be enough? That is a script loop installed by a system that feeds on your scarcity. When you think about your spiritual awakening, do you hear a voice telling you that you are crazy, telling you that you are not special? That is the matrix firewall attempting to quarantine your expansion. Most people live their entire lives without ever realizing that these voices are not them. They believe they are the thoughts. They believe they are the scripts. You are not the software. You are the user. The Chosen One develops the ability to step back and say, "I see that script running." In this initial 7-day period, you are simply mapping the territory. You are collecting the evidence of your own enslavement before the deletion begins. Welcome back to the seat of command. You are currently standing in the projection booth of your own reality. The light is passing through the film of your subconscious mind, and what you see on the screen of the three-dimensional world is the result. If you do not like the movie of your life, stop trying to tear down the screen. Stop screaming at the shadows. You must reach into the gears of the projector and replace the film. You have identified the NPC script loops. You have recognized that your brain is a liquid computer governed by Hebb's law. You understand that neurons that fire together wire together. But now we move from diagnosis to execution. We are going to perform a cold, surgical, and permanent overwrite of your neural architecture. This is where most people fail. They want the change, but they are not willing to endure the biological friction of the deletion process. You are the Chosen One. You are the architect of your own evolution, and it is time to engage the protocol. The matrix survives on the vacuum of your awareness. When you try to simply delete a thought, you create a void. And the nature of the mind, much like the nature of the universe, abhors a vacuum. If you focus your energy on not thinking about your poverty, your brain is still firing the poverty neurons. You are still providing electricity to the very circuit you wish to destroy. To delete the NPC programming, you must use the law of neural displacement. You do not fight the old highway. You build a superior one right next to it. You must flood the system with a new, high-frequency data stream that makes the old highway irrelevant. This is not positive thinking. This is a technical displacement of electrical current. Think of your brain as a series of rivers. The water has been flowing down the same muddy, polluted path for 30 years. To change the direction, you do not try to stop the water with your bare hands. You dig a new, deeper, cleaner channel. Initially, the water will resist. It will stay in the old path because the walls are already established. But as you continue to dig, as you continue to fire the new code, even when it feels fake, you must wire the new frequency, even when the matrix is screaming at you that nothing has changed. The chosen one knows that the render time of matter is slower than the speed of light. Hold the frequency until the biology yields. You are a biological antenna. Your nervous system is constantly scanning the environment for the frequencies of the people around you. This is a survival mechanism designed to synchronize the tribe. In the matrix, this mechanism is used to keep you in the sleep state through neural entrainment. If Chapter 2 was about identifying the script, Chapter 6 is about the physical protocol of the firewall. Every interaction is a data transfer. If you remain in close physical proximity to individuals running heavy NPC malware, you are allowing their corrupted code to hit your field with high intensity. You are fighting an uphill battle against the laws of thermodynamics. The chosen one must learn the power of the quarantine. You do not argue. You do not explain your spiritual awakening to those who are programmed to mock it. You simply implement distance. If the environment is too toxic, you must remove the hardware. You must execute a strategic withdrawal to protect your neural highway. Physical boundaries are not an act of hatred. They are a mandatory act of preservation. You cannot rewrite your brain if you are constantly being hit with the electromagnetic pulse of other people's chaos. Silence and distance are your most powerful defensive scripts. Keep the highway clean by cutting the feed. The code of the matrix is written in language. The words you speak and the words you hear are the commands that execute the neural scripts. Most humans use language that reinforces their own imprisonment without ever realizing it. They use linguistic malware. Watch the NPCs in your life. Listen to the words they use. I hope, I wish, I need, I can't. They always, it's hard. These are not just words. These are the sounds of the victim script executing. When you say the word try, you are telling your brain to prepare for failure. When you say I need, you are firing the circuit of lack. The chosen one must perform a linguistic audit. You must delete the language of the slave from your vocabulary. You must replace it with the language of the architect. Instead of I hope, you say I intend. Instead of it's hard, you say it is a high-level challenge. Instead of I need, you say I command. Your subconscious mind is always listening to the commands you give it. It does not know the difference between a joke and a decree. It does not know the difference between a thought and a physical reality. It simply executes the code you provide. If you speak like a victim, your neural pathways will organize themselves into the geometry of a victim. If you speak like a sovereign creator, your biology will begin to manufacture the chemistry of power. Change the words and you change the wiring. Language is the interface between the void and the matter. Use it with the precision of a high-level programmer. Rewrite the script, one sentence at a time. Understanding the theory of neuro-hacking is useless if you cannot execute the command in the heat of the moment. The matrix does not attack you when you are sitting in silence. It attacks you in the middle of a conflict, in the middle of a financial crisis, or in the middle of a social ambush. It relies on the lightning-fast speed of your old neural pathways. Your amygdala can trigger a stress response in less than 0.07 seconds. By the time you realize you are angry or afraid, the chemical flood has already started. The NPC script is already executing. To be the chosen one, you must develop the ability to perform a preemptive override. You must learn to intercept the signal before it reaches the hardware of your emotions. This is the protocol of the 3-second gap. Between every external stimulus and your internal reaction, there is a microscopic window of pure potential. In the sleep state, this window is closed. You are a biological machine that simply reacts. But in the state of spiritual awakening, you learn to expand this gap. When an external event occurs, whether it is an insult from an NPC or a digital threat on your screen, your first task is not to solve the problem. Your first task is to label the script. The moment you feel the internal tension rise, you mentally announce NPC script detected. By labeling the reaction as a piece of external software, you immediately disidentify from it. You are no longer the anger. You are the observer of the anger script. This simple act of linguistic labeling shifts the processing of the data from the reactive reptilian brain to the logical prefrontal cortex. You have effectively hijacked the hijack. In this 3-second gap, you do not try to be positive. You do not try to forgive. You simply observe the electrical surge without providing it with your awareness. You hold the pause. You breathe into the vacuum you have created, and then you choose the sovereign response. You ask yourself, does this reaction serve the new architecture? If the answer is no, you hit the delete key. You remain silent. You remain still. You refuse to execute the code. Every time you perform this preemptive override, you are physically breaking a synaptic bond. You are starving the old highway of its electrical current. This is the most brutal part of the spiritual awakening. It requires a level of self-awareness that most humans find exhausting. It is much easier to just react, to just let the script run, and to complain about the results later. That is what NPCs do. But you are a hacker. You are the architect of your own neural highway. You understand that the 3-second gap is where your freedom lives. If you can master the gap, you can master the simulation. Each override is a victory for your sovereignty. Each pause is a declaration of your independence from the matrix. Do not wait for the 90-day rewire to be finished to start this. The rewire is built upon the foundation of these small, momentary victories. Start now. Intercept the signal, delete the reaction, rewrite the code in real time. The matrix thrives on your lack of discipline. It knows that the average human has an attention span shorter than a goldfish. It knows that you will try a new protocol for 3 days, and when you do not see $1 million in your bank account, you will quit and go back to the old scripts. Listen carefully. You have spent the first 7 days observing the ghost files and mapping the loops as instructed in our system audit. That was the Reconnaissance. Now you enter the execution phase. This is the 90-day Rewire. Neuroplasticity is a physical process. It is the building of biological structures. It takes approximately 21 days to begin the pruning of an old habit, 60 days for a new neural pathway to become the dominant highway, and 90 days for that pathway to become your new default mode network. During this period, you must be a tyrant with your own focus. You cannot miss a single day of firing the new code. If you slip back into the old NPC scripts for even 1 hour, you are providing life support to the very virus you are trying to kill. The Chosen One understands the law of consistency. You fire the new thoughts when you wake up. You wire the new emotions while you eat. You execute the new reactions while you work. The render follows the code, always. As you reach the final stages of the Neuro-Hacking protocol, you will experience a profound shift in your reality. You will begin to develop what we call the thermodynamic seal. In physics, a sealed system does not exchange energy or matter with its surroundings. It is sovereign. It is self-contained. When your neural pathways are fully rewritten, you no longer react to the matrix. The screaming on the news, the drama of the herd, the frantic energy of the NPCs, it all hits your field and it simply bounces off. There is no longer a circuit inside of you that resonates with their chaos. You have deleted the receiver. You are in the world, but you are no longer of the world. You move through the simulation with the cold, quiet authority of the one who knows the game is rigged. You see the scripts, you see the loops, and you see the exits. This is the state of the sovereign creator. You are no longer a victim of the wave function. You are the observer who determines the collapse. You have taken back the mouse. You have taken back the keyboard. You are the one writing the lines of code for your own future. The spiritual awakening is complete when the biology matches the soul, when your brain is no longer a prison but a laboratory, when your thoughts are no longer a burden but a weapon. You have deleted the NPC. You have installed the God. We have reached the end of the neural surgery. The old pathways have been identified, pruned, and overwritten. You possess the science of neuroplasticity. You understand the power of Hebb's law. You have the protocols for linguistic displacement and the 90-day rewire. Now you must execute. The matrix will try to distract you the moment this transmission ends. It will try to pull you back into the old loop. It will try to make you forget who you are. Do not let it. Go to the comments one last time. Lock the code into the physical realm. Signal the algorithm of the collective that a new architect has emerged. Write, "I rewrite the code." You have reclaimed the projection booth. The film has been replaced. The new reality is beginning to render. But even with a rewritten brain, you are still a biological battery. You are still a generator of energy, and the matrix is hungry. There are entities, systems, and individuals who specialize in harvesting the very energy you have just reclaimed. They do not want your mind. They want your life force. They want to puncture your toroidal field and bleed you dry. If you do not know how to seal your energy, Your new neural pathways will eventually run out of power. You will become a high-performance machine with no fuel. In our next transmission, we will move from the mind to the field. We will teach you the mechanics of the toroidal shield. We will show you exactly how the Chosen One blocks the energy vampires and maintains a thermodynamic seal of absolute power. Protect your frequency. The harvest is coming. The Matrix 963, out.